Okay, good evening. Hi, Larry. Hi, Peter. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, Larry. Yes, okay.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, we are live now. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday night. It's going to be a very, very long weekend. I hope you guys are not trying to travel interstate. Because I understand there is a massive roadblock if you do try. I guess the smarter ones will try the trunk roads, right? To try sneak around the borders. But stay safe, drive safe as we approach to all Muslim friends. Maybe very early Selamat Hari Raya. I know it's happening on Sunday. Now, while waiting for everyone to start strolling in on YouTube and our Facebook pages, maybe just a very quick, just do a quick disclaimer for today's discussion. Let me just see if I can get this on. Yeah, okay. So today we actually have a very special guest, Mr. Larry Lim. He is the CEO and co-founder of SearchGuru. So we actually have the guru of the guru, right? So we got the CEO of the guru, right? So you can't get any better than that, right? And he is an expert in digital marketing. I know his firm has won several awards. They are in Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong, right? Am I right, Larry?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so he'll probably do a better introduction. And today's segment is really much aimed at, targeted at, if you're a business owner, big, small, doesn't matter. I don't think there is, I don't believe that, you can completely ignore digital marketing. Of course, you look at all the tech giants, a lot of them make a bulk of their money advertising online. So before I get started, just a very quick disclaimer, these sessions are purely educational, okay? So tonight we won't be talking so much about stocks, but really more if you are a stock or if you're a business, right? You definitely will want to hear from Larry, okay? For those who are still joining in, just an update, and I'll update again later during the show. So please post any of your questions here. We are actually streaming live to you on both Facebook and also on YouTube. So if you have any questions for our guru of the guru, Mr. Larry Lim, please keep them coming. As you know, we've been on every single night at 8 p.m. since the MCO started. MCO started on the 18th of March. We've been online every single night, streaming to you and bringing knowledge to you since March 19, right? So this weekend, the whole team is going to take a break. So tomorrow and Sunday and Monday, we will be offline. However, we will be back on Tuesday night just before the market opens with Ask Us Anything on Tuesday night. Yeah. So next 3 nights, rest up. And if you still haven't signed up for your free equities tracker account, you can do so. This weekend is probably the best time to go and do some search on stocks when all markets have closed. Well, not all markets, Malaysian market, okay? So if you like to sign up for a free account, you still don't have a free account yet, send us a WhatsApp on 603-8408-2070. Yeah, the number's on the screen. So if you still haven't set up a free account, you can do so here, and also download all the freebies that we have. Yeah, if you're new here and you haven't yet clicked on the like or follow or notify yourself whenever we come online, please, you can do so on Facebook. All you need to do is click like and follow and turn on your notifications. If you're signing in from YouTube, don't forget to click and subscribe to our channel. All right, so let's get started and keep the questions coming. All right.
Maybe Elvie, if I may, I start off first.
Sure.
Larry, it's easy to a lot of us, right? When I talk about digital marketing, it's a very common phrase, but at the same time, it is very. I mean, people only know about digital marketing. What is the name, but they are really not sure what actually is digital marketing. Maybe another way, maybe you can help us explain for SearchGuru, right? How does it really function? In a very layman term, without all those technical jargon about the industry.
That is a very good first question. So digital marketing is so broad and people use it very loosely. So I think nowadays when you talk about digital marketing, it will be anything and everything that has to do with marketing, but now on the digital platforms. Right? But the area that we are focusing on is actually the media. And again, with media, there are so many different platforms, right? So many different types of advertising, different media formats and whatever not. So the area that we're focused on, we started focusing on search first. So anything that had to do with Google search, whether it's trying to optimize and increase your rankings and presence on the search results organically, or managing your advertising there so that when people search for something, they see your website there. So from there, we've gone on to advertising on Google's other display network as well as other third-party sites. Those are the banners that you see. After that, it progressed into when mobile phones, smartphones took off. Then it progressed into all those ads on your phone, right? Which can now come in a whole variety of formats. Right? It can be banners. It can be taking over your entire screen. Right? So all of this, it's digital marketing.
So can I ask you one question? Assuming now ET, right? Say we manufacture shoe. We got this ET shoe. Okay, so now say we engage SearchGuru. Say okay, we want to do a digital marketing of a shoe. So how does it actually work? Does it mean okay when somebody Google, right? I say Google shoe, right? Does that mean that you guys will actually know how to put up an ad there whenever someone search for, or how does it actually work, right?
Okay, so with search, there are two ways that you can market on it, on these search engines. One is by optimizing your web pages. Right?
Okay.
We optimize your website, we optimize your web pages so that when people search for shoes, then your web pages will appear in those results, right? So we try to make your web page appear for as many related keywords as possible and as high up as possible, right? So that's for the organic searches. And then the one that you mentioned, the paid part, those are the paid ads, right? So paid ads is the one where we can sort of tell Google, for example, what keywords we want to trigger the ads, right? So if you are selling shoes, you are targeting the keyword shoes. When somebody searches for shoes, your ad will show. So those are the two ways that you can market on the search.
So does that mean? Right? See, we always said that Google got this algo where technically the most popular one will actually appear at the top. So from what you're saying, actually it's not really true, right? That means technically there are companies like SearchGuru, which will actually, okay, I won't say manipulate, in the lack of a better word, they will know how to go around the algorithm to make sure that you appear at the top, although you may not be the most popular. Is that what you're saying?
No, but your choice of word is actually the most accurate word to describe it. You are trying to manipulate, right? You are trying to manipulate the search results. You are trying to get around it, right? By trying to guess how it works. So Google claims that they use more than 200 different factors to rank a website. Now this time we're talking about organic search results. So Google claimed to use more than 200 different factors to rank a website. And of course, these factors are not equal. Right? Some have a higher weightage, some have a lower weightage. And they constantly change how they apply these weightages, right? To rank those sites, right? So you are trying to game that system. So this way, I would say that by and large, the more established sites, so the one that you were talking about, the more popular, the older it is, the more established it is, will naturally be able to rank better and rank higher. Right? But that is where we come in to help the smaller businesses or the newer businesses to try to compete against these people. Right? So how you go about it is maybe sometimes for a newer site, you need to understand the challenges that you have, right? So let's say for a very generic keyword like shoes, it's very difficult for you to outrank as a new website, as a small website. It's very difficult for you to outrank the Nikes or the Adidas and whatever. Right? So we go for we don't target the generic keywords. We target the longer term keywords. Right? Maybe cheap sports shoes, right, or sports shoes for men. The longer term. Right? So this is what we call the long tail keywords. How that makes sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense. So that means I believe that there will be a lot of peers around you, right? So technically, you're just trying to outsmart each other in how do you make your client rank at the top, lah.
Yes, exactly.
Must be must be a challenging job, and you still have your hair.
But fortunately, I'm no longer managing all this myself. I'm managing the company. But we have built a system, I would say, right? We have built a system, we have built a proper process. Because I started doing this in 2005, right? At a time where very few people in this part of the world, in Malaysia and Singapore, were doing this, right? So over the time, we have sort of continuously fine-tuned our process. And we have all these tools, all this system in place that is, I would say, quite robust, and that gives us an edge over the other players. Right? The other thing is that we probably have one of the biggest, if not the biggest, SEO team in Malaysia. Our SEO team alone is more than 30 people. Right? That's more than some of the agencies here.
I guess for some of the viewers here, SEO, when Larry talks about SEO, search engine optimization, in case you're not familiar.
Yes. Thanks, Alvin.
Yeah, no problem. So, Larry, actually, one question, right? If let's say I am a business, so I mean, if I split businesses into two simple sort of segments, right? One is B2C, where stuff that we see, right? Like if you want to go Shopee, Lazada, that kind of B2C stuff. But what if I'm on a B2B market, right? Where obviously the number of searches will be or very niche, right? So how would I do you see a need for digital marketing if let's say I'm in a B2B business versus if I'm in a B2C business?
Yeah, of course there's a need, right? There's a need for marketing for everyone, regardless of whether you're B2B or B2C. But that said, different businesses or different types of business will be more effective or more cost efficient on different platforms, right? So that's why you see, for example, manufacturing, a lot of them, they get a listing on Alibaba, right? Because people go there to source for supplies, right? They go to Alibaba, they go to global sources, right? So that works. That's why they are so big, right? They started that way. For advertising, let's say on search, and even SEO. Now you talk about B2B. Let's say you were a service office, right? I like to give this example, right? We used to be in a service office, and the service office that we were based in was actually from Singapore, and they opened up a new center in Pavilion. And when they opened up that center, I think 90% of that center was taken up by one single company, right? Which was an oil and gas company. This was a big. Now imagine you did your advertising, right? And you get just one single client who would take up 90% of your space. Is that worth it?
Right. So if you're saying let's say it's manufacturing, right? So is there like a need to still be? I mean, if Alibaba is that source, would you still see a need for The reason why I'm asking is because when we cover a lot of stocks, a lot of Malaysian stocks are actually, a lot of them fall under the manufacturing space, right? Where they're B2B, right? And I guess sort of trying to understand different needs of businesses, how would they do digital marketing differently, obviously, from, let's say, someone who sells shoes, right? Like what Peter mentioned.
So you see, like Peter mentioned, that a popular site will get ranked high up, right? So a lot of people already have that conception that if I go on the organic search results, the ones at the top are websites that I can trust because Google trusts these sites. Right? So that already gives you a reason to try to optimize the site, right? Because you want to appear on top, not only to drive leads, but also to give you that branding, right? To create that kind of trust.
The visibility. You know.
Right.
Okay.
And then sometimes people do this reverse SEO, what we call online reputation management. Some companies, for whatever reasons, they might have been caught in a controversy, right? And when people search for their brands and they see all this very bad press about surrounding their company, right? And you don't want that bad press to be there. So what do? You engage people like us to try to push those negative results to the second, third, fourth pages.
I see.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And that's just talking about organic search. We have not even gone into advertising.
Mm-hmm. Larry, if you don't, I think one of the very pertinent questions about digital marketing is measurability. I think I've shared with you this personal experience of mine, right? You know, recently when I published my ebook via this ebook publisher, 𝑠bookbaby. So they asked me if I want to do an online marketing with them. So of course I clicked yes. So in fact I paid $200 for a 2 weeks marketing campaign, right, by 𝑠bookbaby. And the result after 2 weeks of marketing campaign, I technically sold only one book, which is $4.99 versus my $200 of investment. So, okay. So I think this boils down to the question about measurability. So how do you actually tackle this kind of situation where your client will say, hey, look, I spent $200, but I only get $5 of sales, right? So I think that's also one of the main reasons why people choose not to go for digital marketing. So how do you actually handle this measurability issue?
So I don't think that you should decide on whether to advertise or not until you really try advertising. Right? You should set aside sufficient budget, test it for 3 months. During the 3 months, optimize, try everything you can. Mm-hmm. Right? If it doesn't work on that platform, then you move on to the next and the next and the next. Right? Mm-hmm. Because it's highly measurable, as you have mentioned. Even for offline service center, law firm, dental clinics, aesthetic clinics, we can use phone tracking to track the conversions that come through phone, right, via Google, Facebook, or whatever it is, right? We can install tracking codes there, and when somebody comes in through Google, they see one phone number. When they come into Facebook, they see a different number, and so on and so forth, right? And when they finally convert, we can track that. And all this is integrated into all this Google Analytics platform. Right? And the tracking that you mentioned just now, platforms like Google Analytics, they allow you to track. So last time people used to have this issue like yours, right? Because that was the only form of measurement. When somebody clicks on it, they go to the site, then do they make the purchase or not? Right? Then over time, Google came up with this attribution, where they look at this person who came in, right? They put a cookie on the browser, so they know that the next time the person come in again, but not through the ads, right? Maybe that person came in, look at it at one time, and then they went off. They considered about it. They may have saved the page on the website, but later on they came back again, and they end up buying. It won't be tracked, right? So previously it wasn't tracked, but now it's tracked. So they can tell you, okay, this purchase, although it did not originate from the ad, right, directly, but this person actually came in the first time through the app, and now they bought. So now they are attributing back to that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. So in this case, right, would you say that my experience with digital marketing is not successful? Since if you look at, I mean, we are all financial people, right? I mean, we look, hey, look, I spent $200, right? But in the end, I get only $4.99. So how would you view this kind of situation?
Yeah. So then, therefore, it doesn't work for you, right?
I see.
That platform doesn't work for you. Or maybe you might want to test more since you only spent $200. You see, today there was somebody on one of the Facebook community. He was asking about his return on ad spend. Right? He was asking whether his return on ad spend is good or not. He said that I'm in the transportation sector, and for the last 1 week that I've been advertising on Facebook, I've gotten a 17 times return. That means for every 1 ringgit that I advertise, I got back 17 ringgit in profit, not sales.
Wow.
Wow.
So it works for him.
So what would you say, I mean, to, business owners out there, or people who do want to get into business, is there a magic formula, or is it really on a case-to-case basis, or what works, what doesn't work?
You have to experiment, right? So the thing with our guys is that we have, for example, an agency like us where we are so focused in this area, right? So we have managed a broad range of clients for practically all the different verticals, right? And across the region, different countries in different languages. And they have managed different type of campaigns. It can be brand awareness, it can be some activation campaigns, it can be some conversion campaigns, right? All sorts of campaigns. So they have that kind of experience to tell you how to start, for example, for your objective. So let's say you are a new company. Nobody knows your brand yet, right? So now what you want to do is you want to create brand awareness. So they can recommend to you what kind of approach to take, what kind of platform to use, and then based on their research, how much budget to allocate to create brand awareness. Right?
Yeah. So if you're a business today and you sort of want to experiment, how would you start, right? If let's say they had some budget put aside, as someone sitting at home, where would you start from,
I would say that the fastest, most of us when we start a business is to get sales, right? So you go for the low hanging fruit, which is using paid search. Because for like SEO, the optimization, it takes time because you're trying to game the search results. So it takes time. And there's no guarantee, right? But with advertising, paid ads, it's very fast because once you set up the advertising, your ads goes live immediately. Immediately you can get sales, right? And of all the different types of advertising, search works the best because it is based on what people are searching for. Your ads are triggered only when somebody is searching for the keywords that is relevant to your business, right? Like in Peter's example just now, shoes, right? So if I was a new business today, I just launched and I have this new range of shoes that just came out from the factory, right? And I want to immediately sell it. And I want to sell it to Malaysians, right? So I would buy the keywords that have to do with shoes so that immediately when people search for shoes, they see my ads there. And it will be high converting because these people already have the intent to buy shoes, right? So therefore they search for it, they click on the ad, there's a high chance that they will convert. So that is where I would start first.
I see. So do you need to be a technical wizard or anything to actually do paid ads?
Honestly, no, because a lot of these platforms, they were designed to be DIY, right? So even yourself, you can sign up for a Google Ads account with your current Google account, right? If you have a Gmail account, you can just sign up for it. You load in your credit card, you set up your campaign, pick your keywords, put in your bid price, put in your ads, and then that's it. It goes live. But the difference of getting an agency like ourselves to do it is that we can, for bigger budgets and for bigger campaigns, we know how to optimize, right? Because of the experience that we have, because of the tools that we have, because we know how to analyze all these reports. So we can bring you a higher conversion, or we can get it for you at a lower cost. So we can achieve a higher ROI for you. We can run the campaign in a way that integrate with the rest of your campaigns. Maybe you have all the other campaigns running around, right?
Yeah.
For example, you're a toothbrush. You're a toothbrush or toothpaste brand, right? You have this new toothbrush or this new toothpaste. You want to advertise online. Or where do people buy? People need to go down to Watsons, they need to go to Guardian, right? And then these people, maybe they want to partner their retailers when they are running events, right? So how best to run this, when to run this, that's where you will get an agency to do it for you. Right? And for a lot of companies, unfortunately, the marketers here, they don't really have dedicated digital marketers, right? It's what you call a one-leg kick. So that marketer will be running all sorts of marketing campaigns, right? They have to do the research, they have to run the traditional marketing, they have to run the digital marketing. There's so many things to do, right? So they have no time to continuously update themselves, right? Because it constantly changes, right? With this, you need to know so many things. And therefore, it's so much easier for them to be working with an agency rather than doing it themselves.
Larry, following on that, I got two questions for you. The first one, using your toothbrush example, right? Say I assume I am going to do a digital marketing on my toothbrush. But at the end of the day, like what you mentioned, you have to depend on that person to go down to whether is it a pharmacist or is it a modern trade to go and buy the toothbrush. Now, assuming that person really bought the toothbrush, then how do you actually measure that the person actually bought the toothbrush because of the digital marketing?
So, what some clients do for this kind of, so there are a lot of technologies now trying to integrate this, right? Online to offline. That's why you're talking about a lot of this. Last time they tried to put it on the phone using iBeacon, right? Your Bluetooth, so that when you walk into the phone. And I think now with GPS and with all these apps, your e-wallets and all that, they will soon be able to track. In China, they're already doing this, right? They can measure that. But some people, some companies, they try to get around this. For example, aesthetic clinics. They will give you some promo code that you can apply. So when you go down there to their outlet, you mention a promo code to get a discount. They know, oh, you came from this channel, right? So with toothbrushes, you can do something like that. Or otherwise, they will do studies, right? So sometimes they will do brand lift studies, or they would look at the sales numbers, right? During this period where they only ran this campaign. So something like this, right? And what some of these cosmetics brands do is that sometimes they run these campaigns to send you samples instead of measuring you going to the shop to purchase. So that way they know how many people are engaging with it.
I see. So that is a very okay. So the very interesting question from this viewer called Melissa Loa. I think it's a bit difficult. With the recent lockdown, everyone suddenly is a digital marketing guru. How can we tell if the agency is legit? Number one, some award-winning agencies seem to have been awarded by their own circle to lend legitimacy. So how long can I expect to stay on top of the search until my site gets dethroned?
So that's 3 questions there, right?
So many questions there.
We'll start with the first one. now everyone can be a digital marketing guru because we see a lot of ads now on Facebook. How do you know if an agency is legit? Actually, by the way, it's not just digital marketing. After during the MCO, everyone also became investing experts also.
Yeah.
Punch, the market, right? Also became an expert, right? So so it is a commonplace. So maybe that's a good question to answer.
Honestly, I've been in industry for so long, right? I haven't know how to make money from a bear market. But yet during this sell down, right, everybody can teach you how to make money from a bear market.
Profit from a crisis. Yeah.
That's why Facebook has banned all these gurus, right, from advertising. Recently, people have been talking about it. So I guess there are several red flags. So when we started this, also we faced these same challenges, right? You have from the freelancers to web design companies claiming to be the gurus as well, to any agencies, right? Now there are several red flags. One is when they charge you too cheap, right? So if they charge you too cheap, you know that it's quite suspicious because quality don't come cheap, right? That's the first red flag. Second red flag is that for like SEO, they tend to give you guarantees. Oh, I guarantee I can get you into the top 10. I can get you to number 1 within what period. So that is a second red flag. Nobody can guarantee you anything, even for us, right? The third thing would be, So the third thing will be that you can look at their resume. You can ask for who are the clients that they have managed, right? How long have they been in the industry? Right? So that will give you a sense of the credibility of that person. If they won an award, like you mentioned, in the advertising industry, there are only very few awards, credible awards, big awards. So it's very easy for them to prove to you if they can show you those awards.
Can you name us the award? Sorry? Yeah. Can you name us the award that is credible so that we are aware of it? I mean,
for example, Google themselves, they run awards for ads, not for SEO, right? SEO, unfortunately, there are no awards. But for ads, Google have these awards. Right? Facebook also, they have all these awards. And on top of that, they also have all these certifications. They certify the campaign specialists who have gone through the course and passed the exam. And this exam you have to take every year, right? Some of them, like Facebook Blueprint, is quite tough. And the examiners, they will watch you take the exam, right? Or sometimes they organize in a hotel, you have to go there. It's like an exam, it's like our SPM, like that, right? It's not there with the you can't cheat, right? And then you have those magazines, right? Those media, they also run all these kind of awards, like A&M, right? A&M, they have these awards. So like for last year, we won I think we won the Search Agency Gold, we won Digital Agency of the Year Gold, right? And then the associations as well. So here you have Malaysia Digital Association, where they get judges who are from digital agencies or from the client side who will come, they will sit down as a panel to judge. Right? So those are all credible. It's not an award where somebody just gives to you because you paid money. Right? These are neutral parties who have no interest in giving you the awards. Right? It's by a panel. Right? And the bad thing about going to somebody that because they are charging you very low, and therefore you think, oh, why not? Or somebody who gives you the guarantee and you say, why not? So if advertising is not so bad, at most you just lose some money, right? But with SEO, once your site gets penalized, it's very difficult to escape from the penalty, right? Most of the time, your website is as good as gone.
You mean the client's website, right?
Yes. So you need to register.
What do you mean by penalty? Just
Penalty meaning that you totally disappear from the search result.
Oh, wow.
Either you get pushed back 5, 6, 7 pages, or you just totally disappear. Even if people search for your brand, you don't appear anymore.
Oh, it can happen.
Yeah. So that's why with SEO, for example, you have this term, right? You have this white hat. White hat means you follow everything exactly what the search engines tell you in their guidelines. And then at the other extreme, you have the black hats. Right? Black hats are people who use all the funny methods, right, to game the search engine. Now, if you do white hat, you follow everything, then you're not going to rank very well, because then how do you outrank your competitor if everybody does the same thing? So you have to do more than them, right? Like what Peter mentioned. But if you do black hat, you will do well, but then there is very high chance of getting penalized. That's why in the middle you have this gray hat. Right? So you're trying to find a balance. You're trying to push to as far as possible to the limit where you don't get penalized, but you gain an advantage over your competitor. And people who engage SEOs, they are aware of this. They are aware of such things. So it's how far you wanna push. Right?
Okay. I'm sorry to ask this question, right? But you mentioned about price too cheap. So how do we know what is cheap and what level is expensive?
You see, this SEO, proper SEO requires a lot of work. Right? It's very monotonous. For example, all these kind of whatever that you build, you can't build it overnight. Right? So traditionally, what some of these black hatters do, for example, Google, one of the ways that they have a lot of people, this is a big contradictory. Right? So it is a known fact that Google gives a lot of weightage to backlinks to your site, right? That was the basis of how they started initially. Right? So when they started, so last time when Yahoo started, it was about the keyword density, for example, in your website. If you have a page that you repeat shoes 200-300 times, therefore your page is about shoes. And when somebody search for shoes, then your page will rank very high. So people know that. People started spamming the page, repeating shoes so many times. Right? And this Yahoo came and then they penalized people. And then what they do is they started hiding the keyword. They hide it in quotes instead of on the page. Right? So to the crawlers, they still see it, but to the people, they don't see it, so it doesn't make the page look ugly or whatever. Right? And then Google came along and Google said, okay, these people are trying to game it, so now in addition to this keyword density, we look at the backlinks from other people to this site, right? So for example, if a news site like The Star links to my site, The Star is a very credible site. And if they put a link on their site to my site, it is seen as though it's a vote to my site, right? And therefore, I have a higher weightage than somebody who does not have this kind of links. Right? Make sense? So that was how they started. That's why in the early days, Google had this thing called page rank, right? It was from the name of one of the co-founders, Larry Page, right? So that's why he called it page rank, right? So they started ranking sites based on this trust factor. And it's based on when you do your master's and when you do your PhD, you write your thesis, at the end, you will have a list of reference, right? And you reference to all these more credible sites. So that's how they design the system. When you reference this site in your thesis, obviously those sites and those people are more credible than you. Similarly, if I'm the star and I link to this other website, that website will be more credible than me for shoes. That's the way it is. Right? So what all these black hatters might do is that they might start spamming sites by building all these backlinks. Overnight, they might build 10, 20,000, 30,000 backlinks. And that gives you this sudden surge in trust factor and it pushes you up on the rankings. Right? So these are the black hat stuff that you can do. And because they use this kind of spammy method where they use software to do it, right? And they can charge you very cheap. So that's where you have the promise of cheap and then good. But you know, they don't come together, right? Cheap and good don't come together.
Oh,
what's the value to determine whether is it cheap or is it not cheap?
Is that
magic
like a
number?
percentage, or how is it normally charged?
So for us, we would charge based on, I don't do sales anymore, but I think what we are charging is we charge based on pages that we optimize, right? And I think it's about 200 to 500 ringgit per page, right? So for that page, we will do a lot of things. We'll do a lot of analytics. We'll do a lot of tracking, a lot of monitoring. We will do constant benchmarking against your competitors in the same space for that keywords that you're targeting on that page, right? And of course, the whatever backlinkings or content that you're building on the page, right? So because of that kind of very manual work, and you can't do everything overnight like what the Black Hatter does. Whatever they do has to look very natural, right? To the search crawlers, right? To Google's algorithm. Therefore, it requires all this kind of effort, pacing, and whatever not. That's why the cost for just one single page will be 200 to 500 ringgit, right? And the tools that we use is also not cheap, right? Enterprise tools, the subscription can cost you 10,000 ringgit a month, right? So if somebody charges you 500 ringgit to rank your website #1, then that's
okay, got it.
So Larry, you might be asking, right? I mean, I mean, if you can share, provided you can share, I mean, who among the clients of SearchGuru? Assuming you can share, I mean, if you can't share, we totally understand.
I mean, if you can go over to our website, searchguru.co, right? Whatever that can be shared, I think you can see a lot of the testimonials there. So we manage the advertising for the biggest car hailing brand in the region.
There's only one, right?
In the 6 countries that they're in. So we have all sorts of brands. We have a lot of cosmetics brands. We have Japanese cars. We have a lot of your big property developers, right? We have large MNCs like the popular jeans that you wear from America. We manage that. The biggest fitness centers around the regions, we manage that chain as well. Right? So a lot. Your water filters that you probably use at home in the office. So we manage all of these.
Okay.
Impressive,
the #1
impressive.
job site that you go to when you search for jobs.
There's a question from Wendy Wong. Larry, please elaborate Black Kettle. I have no idea what is it. No, Black Kettle.
I think
Black Hat, I think you mean.
Yeah, I think she meant Black Hat or Black Hatter.
Black Hat.
Oh, okay, Black Hatter. Okay, so it's Black Hatter, not Kettle.
Black Hat, yeah.
So Black Hatter is somebody who practices all these Black Hat methods, trying to gain the champions using as
I see.
Actually, we got a question here from Casey Chong. I mean, maybe just a prelude to that question as well. She's asking, have you got any recommendations on payment gateways if for digital marketing startup, right? But I think maybe with COVID, I think, have you guys actually seen a surge in ad spend online? Because everyone's now going online, right? And because you are from the industry, we're also quite curious. Did you actually see a surge in? And obviously, I would imagine your organization, you guys can literally work from home forever, lah, like Twitter, right?
We can't really, because unlike people like Twitter, Google, and Facebook, they are a platform, right? But we are a service business because we are basically an agency. Right? Yeah. So the salespeople, at least, it's difficult for them to be working from home. Regarding the COVID-19, so that is a very interesting topic and a very relevant topic during this period. But contrary to what you mentioned, the amount of advertising during this period actually fell tremendously. Not because people don't want to advertise online, but because of, I guess, our clients, a lot of our clients, because they are offline, right? Like all these car brands, you can't go to the showroom, you can't test drive the car. Or these property developers, you can't go down to the showroom, they can run events for you. And it's very unfortunate because Hari Raya is actually a peak period. Right? The advertising budget probably in a year, 30 to 40% of the entire year's advertising budget is spent during the Raya period. But this year they cannot spend. And you can imagine the sales is so badly affected. Right, Peter, if you're doing all this research, I can tell you they'll all be badly affected. So a lot of them, so that's number one, why the advertising spend dropped. Right? The second thing is that people were all these advertisers, they were all in shock. They don't know what to do, right? So there's this recoil. They just sit back, sit down, and just wait and see, to see what their peers will do, right? So that's what we saw. So a lot of clients actually paused their campaigns. Those people who were supposed to start, they delayed starting, right? Because they wanted to wait and see. And this created an opportunity for the rest of our clients who continued with their advertising. In fact, pushed their advertising even more aggressively. So clients who used to have a lower return on ad spend during this period, because this advertising, how it works is that it's based on a bidding system, right? So let's say the three of us, myself, you, and Peter, we are bidding for the same keywords. If I bid 10 cents, Alvin bids 20 cents, Peter bids 30 cents, then Peter's ad will theoretically appear on top. Mine will appear last. Right? So when you have more people bidding, more people advertising, then therefore the cost will be higher. So during this period, because very few people advertise, the costs drop significantly. So for our clients, their return on ad spend actually increased by a multiple of 3 to 4 times, 3 to 4 folds. So it was a very, very good period for some of our clients. And our team actually told them to take advantage of the opportunity to increase their spend. Right? So that's what we saw. For those, so I have a friend who is in this space, and he did very well. So, and these are things that a lot of people in Malaysia, unfortunately, they still don't know how to do this. So because of the measurability that we were talking about just now, right? There's also a lot of public data that, for example, Google shares using their tools. Right? So they give you tools like Google Trends. Or if you sign up for the Google Ads account, they give you keyword research tools, which you can use. So I have this friend who does printing. They print on mugs, they print on T-shirts and whatever not. And during this period, because the bulk of their market are people who run events. And during this period, because there are no events, so their business was affected very badly, and they couldn't. There wasn't any point for them to advertise, right? And then they went to Google Trends, and they run all these keyword research to see what kind of keywords were trending. And of course, they also read the news and look at what was trending. And they realized, for example, that jigsaw puzzles were trending during this period because people were locked at home, right? And some of them, they buy all this jigsaw puzzle to pass time. So what did they do? They use that data to now adapt their business to B2C and focus on people who wanted to print whatever pictures they want on jigsaw puzzles. And they started advertising for jigsaw puzzles, right? So these are some of the ways that people can use. Right? So you have this one market who were in shock, don't know what to do, they cut down their advertising, they totally missed the opportunity. You have some of these people who took advantage of the situation and advertised aggressively and really, really killing it. And then you have some of these people who are affected, but purely because of their business model, right? And the nature of their business, But they did not just sit down. They adapted their business by taking advantage of all this data that's available on the digital platforms.
That's a
There's a
cool
question. Yeah, there's a question from Peter Law. Is it take the case study? If ET were to sell ET shoes, what will be a decent amount of dollars of digital marketing to run a campaign to reach 300,000 Malaysian?
It's very difficult for me to tell you like that. For the reasons that one, I've not been touching campaigns for a long time. The second thing is that you will need to do some research, right? So for example, for shoes, you need to first run a keyword research if you want to do on Google search, right? And you want to have a look at what are the keywords that people are searching for that are related to shoes and related to the type of shoes and the market that you're targeting, right? And then from there, you can estimate what is the cost per click for the shoes. And from there, you can do some sort of estimate on your conversion rate and therefore estimate the budget that you require by back calculating. Or here we're going to do it on Facebook, looking at the demographics that you're going to target, you will get an estimate on what is the cost. Again, by estimating the conversion rate, you can back calculate to know what kind of budget you require. So it's not something based on number that you can just plug from there.
Okay, understand.
I think we have one question here, Larry. It says, is this business, I don't know what it means, but is this a relationship business between yourself and the client? As in, do you guys have, I guess the question is it long-term? Do you know, is your the campaigns that you guys run for them on, and you talk about it takes a long time to optimize them for search engine. Is that a long-term relationship normally?
Typically, yes. So for SEO, it's a continuous process, right? Because there are always all these algorithm changes. Number one. Number two, the client might be adding new products or new pages or whatever. So you need all this continuous optimization. The third thing is that your competitors might be also doing SEO, right? And if you stop doing it, then they're going to outrank you. Right? So for all this, that's why it's a long-term effort. It's not a one-time thing.
Actually, we got one question internally actually from Faiz. He said we talk a lot about SEO or search engines. What about things like MailChimp, Facebook ads, content marketing, and for us in the financial industry, is it true that the finance industry in terms of ads or what cost per click CPC, right? Is that the highest, or would you be able to rank what is high, what is low, what industry?
I'm sure there are a lot of research data on this.
Sorry?
I'm sure there are a lot of research data on this.
Okay.
But I don't think yours is the highest. Right? Traditionally in Malaysia, service office keywords are very expensive. Right? Simply because, like in the example that I gave you just now, one single client can end up renting 90% of your place.
Yeah.
Millions a year. So therefore, people are willing to bid very high for those keywords. Right? Something that is subscription based, that has very long, that has very high lifetime value, like a gym or your platform, for example, that's subscription based. Then people again are willing to pay higher, right? So therefore, it's also not. Therefore, the cost might also be higher, right? So it really depends on that.
So you say it's less to do with the industry, but probably more to do with the type of business you run, because
it has to do with the industry, but because the nature of the industry is such, so therefore, the industry is higher. So like for service office, then it's higher. in US many years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, keywords like asbestos cancer, very expensive. Single click costs like $200-300 one click. Why?
Wow.
Because the law firms they were because they want to represent the victims to go and sue the employers so that they can get their willing to
Okay. So what are your thoughts? what are your thoughts about content marketing or email marketing? Where does like SearchGuru? What's your opinion on this?
So you never choose one over the other. Right? If it's possible, you want to do everything because all these serve different functions. Right? Of course, sometimes like I mentioned earlier, some type of marketing work better for different type of industries. Right? For example, finance. Maybe content marketing will work well for you, right? Because as people, you want to be the thought leader in your space. Right, your analysis is the one. If you are always very accurate in your prediction and whatever you write makes sense, then people are more likely to convert through your writings. Right, marketing. Like the other day we had our discussion. It was about NGOs. Right, NGOs, they run a lot of these. They do a lot of stuff. Right, a lot of this work. Sometimes it's very touching, it's very sad. So through content marketing, I think they can reach out or communicate better their work, right, with the users rather than advertising. Right?
Yeah.
You advertise, hey, give me donation, and you're not going to donate. What have you done, right? But through content marketing, well, they put some pictures there, something very sweet, you feel so touched, then you're more than willing to advertise, right? To spend money. And it also depends on what is it that you're trying to do, right? So you have this sales funnel where at the top you have brand awareness, then in the middle you have conversions, and then at the end you have retention, right? So for awareness campaigns, if you're new, then you will want to just blast everywhere, right? Display, buying the demographics that you're trying to target, right? If you're in the middle, so people already know your brand already and they already shortlisted you. Now they have seen your product. Now they are at the consideration phase. Right? They're considering between buying this chair from you or from that person, spending this amount of money or spending less. Then that's where your conversion ads come in, or your paid search ads. When you remarket to these people, maybe you'll be more effective. When these people have converted, right? They have converted already, but you want to remind them to come back again to your site to buy more stuff. Or you have a new product. They have bought the chair. Now you want to sell them this memory foam pillow bed to the chair. You just need to reach out to them, right? And with email marketing, you're not paying to Google, right? This is from your own database.
Yep.
For somebody like SearchGuru, where you have a loyalty program, you have tens of thousands of people on your loyalty program, then you use email marketing.
Cool. All right. Peter, you had something? Sorry.
I lost my train of thought just. I've been too engrossed listening to Larry. So let me if you look at it, right? I mean, it's a very common theme, right? I mean, people are saying that due to this COVID, right? it's a very common theme that digital marketing is no longer it's no longer a choice to a certain extent, right? I mean, how will you view this in this perspective?
Okay, in relation to COVID or digital marketing in general?
No, you're saying it's after this COVID, that post-COVID or due to this COVID, right? That digital marketing is no longer a choice, right? So how will you agree with this statement, or how will you actually view this statement? Like, is it something that's really true, or is it just something created by the digital marketing companies themselves to actually promote their own business?
I think COVID or no COVID, digital marketing has always had a significant advantage over traditional. because of this. You see, like last time, the advertisers could advertise in print. All you can trust is the audit bureau of circulation, right? Auditing their numbers. Some people don't even audit their numbers, and then you just buy the advertisement, place it there, and hoping that you place enough times, you reach enough people, you will maybe reach some of your target audience, right? But with digital, it's no longer that. You can reach precisely your target audience. And if those people don't take action, they don't click on the ads, they don't pay, it's free, right? And you can set your ads to be there for a long period compared to the newspapers where it's just one day, right? So there's so many significant advantages of digital over that. Then you have all this data, for example, that I was telling you just now. And now with the phone, where you have even more data, you have all this GPS, and then when people start to use e-wallet, you know their spending patterns, you know what they buy, right? There is no reason why you shouldn't be on digital, right? In China, where people like Alibaba, because there are only two big e-wallet players there, right? You have Alipay, you have WeChat Pay. And with the significant amount of data that they have, they know the kind of users, right? They know these users' spending power. They know what they buy. They know where they spend, how often they spend. When they buy their Starbucks, they know which Starbucks these people go to, right? Because of all the tracking on the phone. You imagine companies like Starbucks can actually go to Alibaba and ask them, from your research data, can you tell me in this vicinity, where should I set up my next shop? And Alibaba can tell them with a very, very high probability that if you set up in this location on this street, you're going to get this kind of traffic and this kind of estimated revenue. How can you achieve that through traditional way? People are even using all this data that's available on search, for example, to come up with products, right? To determine what kind of products you want to sell. Because right now you have all this kind of data. How can you determine what products are currently popular, right? And the other thing about digital is that it is immediate, right? You can get the message out immediately, right? If COVID happens today, the government locks down the whole country tomorrow, I can set up my advertisement to go live tomorrow. Can you do it on the papers? Cannot. Can you do it on the TV? You cannot. You need to plan, you need to shoot, you need to do so many things. You need to put the slot. Right?
Larry, speaking of this data, right? There's a question from CH Ang, right? Malaysia has Personal Data Protection Act. Is it legal to track people?
So it's a good question. As you mentioned in that question, right? It is personal data, right? But the data that they're tracking is anonymous data. They cannot identify you personally. Right? It's a cookie on your browser and it does not identify you personally.
Well, that means it's not identifying that I have been to Aeon or I've been to, but they just said there is an individual that goes to Aeon. Is that what you're trying to say?
So if I advertise on, let's say, a third-party site that sells me their data, right? That sells me that, they may know their data, right? From the maybe, let's say the start, their user register on the site, so they know the profile of their users or whatever. Or some mobile phone company, right? Similarly with Google, because they have all this data, they have their sites, Gmail, YouTube, whatever it is. But when they sell to me, the advertiser, I tell them I want to target the male Malaysian who is 30 years old, who has an interest to buy shoes, right? And using the knowledge that they know, they just target my ads towards these people. But I don't know who these people exactly are, right? On third-party sites, all those cookies, right? If you go to you go to the star, you go to a page that's talking about shoes, right? That's talking about the latest pair of Nike running shoes, for example. Now that cookie is stored on your browser, so they know that you have looked at these shoes. But they don't know who you are. They know that your browser has been to this site. So therefore, they know that this person is currently looking at buying a pair of running shoes. And therefore, they will match the ads to people who are looking at these shoes. But again, they don't know who you are.
Okay.
So it's definitely not black hat, it's still white hat.
Well, even these people are already complaining, right? You know, the Americans, they complain about everything. So even these, they complain about it being a breach of privacy, right? That's why even today, a lot of users, they are starting to use ad blockers. There are also people now new browsers like there's this Brave browser that's on the right, that's on the blockchain, right? They have come up with their own browser that is privacy first. Right? So therefore, in this same vein, people like Google and Facebook, they have come up with they have announced their intention to do away with all this party cookie data, for example, in 2 to 3 years. So 2 to 3 years down the road, they're not even going to track all this third-party cookie data anymore.
Okay, that actually coincides with our very own Andrew Wong, right? Our Chief Future Officer. I mean, at the same time, you're also asking about this Brave browser. So does that mean that going forward, data will no longer be cheap?
In a sense, yes. So a lot of companies you will see now, they will start collecting their own first-party data. They will try to rely on their own data. So they will come up with their own loyalty program. They will try to get people to register on their website. They will collect all this data. They will put it on their DMP, right, their data management platform, to remarket to these people. Right? Or those websites like again like the Star and all that, who has all this data, they can be using all this data to sell to advertisers. I don't know whether they will do it or not, but that's what I imagine. Right? Phone companies, because of the GPS that's in your phone, you are using their, right? They know where you are from the cell tower, for example, that you are logged on. So they know, for example, which expressway you use every day. So they know if they place a digital billboard there, how many people are going to pass that billboard. They know it better than the billboard users, the billboard owners. Right? So all these people who own all this data, they probably will have a significant advantage going into the future.
I think there's a big movement between public and private data, right? And I think this is where the private data guys are gearing up, right?
Yeah. I think these e-wallet players like Boost, Touch and Go, right, GrabPay, they will be in a very, very nice place in the coming future.
Yeah, private data is very, very valuable resource.
Because that one they have end-to-end, right? They don't. They not only know like websites, they know which page you visit, where you go. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Google maybe know a bit more if they connect, right, the Google Analytics together with all this data. But for these e-wallets, they know where you go, they know what you buy, they know how much you spend, they know how much you spend in a month, they know your spending habits, they know a lot of things.
Yeah. No, I agree. Private data it's next probably not seen yet lah, but I think you're right. I agree. Yeah.
I think we're hitting time now.
Okay. I think we've run out of time, but Larry, thank you very much for being here and sharing your thoughts with us. Also for viewers, I hope you guys learned something. Yeah. And also thanks Peter for meeting Larry.
So Larry, if I'm mistaken, do you have an upcoming session about digital marketing, if I understand correctly?
Digital marketing, I think internally the company we are organizing another webinar. We organized one 2 weeks ago. So it was a free session on SEO and Google and Facebook advertising. It was a 6-hour session, and I think 300 plus people signed up. So we had to limit the number of people, and we're putting wait list for the next class. So I think they're going to organize
another one, right?
I'm not sure whether what you're referring to is the one that I shared. That one is actually on SME management. The one I shared was on SME management.
Correct. So is it open for public, or is it?
That would be something that if you want, I can organize one with your audience, right? Because your audience, you might have people who are running their own business, or they plan to go into business, or they are working in a company where they are in a position to change things, right? So I've been participating more in all these entrepreneurs community recently, and I realized that a lot of the questions that were asked make me feel like a lot of these people, they are not sure of what they're doing, right? And we have been doing relatively well during this 8-9 years we've been in business. For example, we have been growing our revenues and profit year on year consecutively for 8 years. Right? Every year, right? We have grown 42x from the time that we started. We didn't start with zero. We were profitable from year one, right? And we've also made mistakes. We've also made a lot of mistakes in terms of hiring, in terms of managing people, in terms of investments. So these are things that I thought I could share with people. The things that we have done well and the things that we have not done well, right? So that maybe we can help them avoid the same kind of pain that we've gone through, so that they don't waste their time, they don't waste their money, right? So it's something that in terms of SME management, if you want to have this, if you want, I'll be happy to do it.
Sure. Okay, we'll try to arrange that. I think it's top 10 lessons learned building SearchGuru. I think that was the title of your talk, right?
Correct. So it will be my personal capacity, so that I can say whatever I want to say. I won't be saying it as the CEO of SearchGuru.
After your last comment, there is sure this burning question in everybody's mind, right? You have grown your company by 42x. So will you ever go for listing?
It's a question that we have considered many times, right? But at this point, I don't think so. I mean, that's something that we will need to learn from you, right? But as we know, as we have heard, there are a lot of this compliance reporting, and there's all these costs, right? You make the decision making and execution a lot tougher, right? So as it is right now, where we're doing okay, we're still profitable and whatever not, I don't think that's the route that we're taking in the near future.
Okay, too bad, guys. They're not going for listing at the moment. Okay. Thanks, Larry. Really thankful. I mean, we really learned a lot today from your session, and we're really thankful for actually wanting to actually grace this our Kopi time session with us.
Yeah, thanks again, Larry. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right, guys, have a good holiday. Have a good Friday night. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget our Mandarin session is right after this. I think it's starting in about 1 minute's time. Go to our Equity Tracker Chinese session. We will follow again with Larry. For those of you who are interested, obviously you can PM or send us an email or send us a WhatsApp at 603-8408-2070 to get in touch with us. And we will be offline for 3 nights, okay? So we'll see you guys on Tuesday night with Ask Us Anything just before the market opens, all right? So wishing everyone have a very safe Hari Raya and enjoy the weekend. All right, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Bye, guys.